Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Just Our Opinion. I appreciate you tuning in again tonight. We got a lot to talk about, some fun stuff, and I hope you enjoy it. I know most of you are looking like, what is wrong with Ray? You see my neck brace. I mean, it's pretty neat. I'm not wearing this hoping for a car insurance settlement or nothing like it. If you remember a few weeks ago, I mentioned to you that I actually had to go do a MRI. And it's resulted in finding out that I had a herniated disc. And so last week I was fortunate enough to go over and have surgery in hospital with Dr. Johnson. That's from Sports Med. It's kind of limited me though. I'm kind of stuck with this thing for 2 weeks now. I'm through with 1 week. I'm on my second week. Go back and check. But it's just made a world of difference when you're trapped at home and you can't go anywhere and you can't drive and you wonder sometimes why you can't drive, but really it's hard to turn your head to see if anything's coming. So that's why I have chose not to drive at all with this right here. I have sat in the car a few times and made a few quick mini trips, but I'm not going to drive. But I know it don't look as good as a suit and tie would if I was sitting here with it. But I tell you what, Dr. Johnson, I'll give him a shout out right here. I have had no pain. Everything has been great. He has just done a super job, and I kind of hate to tell him that when I go back next week, because he may want to charge me extra for not having any pain and stuff. But done a great job, and nobody really knows how you get these herniated discs. I don't do a whole lot of physical work. Of course we got a farm here with cows and stuff, and do a little work around the farm. But just woke up one day and started hurting in my arm and stuff, and so anyway, it's gone now. But you do get to see this pretty neck brace right here, and it's I wear it for sleeping and everything. So I'm trying to get my money's worth. I think it was like $200 nearly for this thing. Now I don't expect to get that much out of it at a yard sale when all this is over and done. But we're gonna just see what we can get for it. But thank you for tuning in. Doing a little reading here a little while ago, just when you got a lot of free time like I've had the last few weeks, and was reading up on some fun facts about animals. And there was this bestlifeonline.com that I run across, and there's a very interesting article wrote by a young lady named Sarah Crow. I want to give you a couple of the facts that I found that she had wrote about. Grizzly bears, their bite is strong enough to crush a bowling ball. Now, can you imagine that? A grizzly bear grabbing a hold of you and biting you hard enough that it could crush a bowling ball. Now, bowling ball is pretty hard. If you've ever dropped one on your foot at a bowling alley or something, it's pretty hard, but that's a strong bite. So when you go up to Gatlinburg or somewhere like that up in the mountains and you see a grizzly bear and stuff, don't go over and try to talk to it, because the bite will definitely hurt. Now, are they aggressive and will they try to bite you? I don't know. And I'm gonna just be honest with you right here. It's just my opinion and stuff. But I think anybody that'll go up and try to get bit by a grizzly bear is kind of foolish anyway. But don't do that. But remember, that is a strong bite to crush a bowling ball. Another thing that I found out when I was reading her story was a housefly. Housefly, they buzz around sometimes, and you hear them and they kind of aggravate, and you're always trying to swat at them and stuff, but I found out that the tone of a housefly buzz is an F key. So if you was getting a band together and needed an F key, you just get a jar of flies and let them sit there. But who would have ever thought that somebody would go to the trouble to figure out what tone the buzz of a fly was? But it's an F key. So just remember that next time. Now, we try to keep our flies outside, but when we sit out on the patio, sometimes they do fly around. But I never thought about that, an F key on the buzz of a fly. Another thing I never thought about. Now, I have been to the zoo since I was just a young kid, and we love zoos. My wife loves zoos, and I love zoos. The kids always, they just always love zoos. Giraffes Now, we've seen giraffes all our lives, but I have never noticed that a giraffe's tongue is black. A giraffe's tongue is black. Now, in this article, there again, it's from Miss Sarah Crow, and I know she's done a lot of research on it and stuff, but they think the tongue is black so it won't get sunburnt when the giraffes are eaten. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot to think about. That's pretty deep right there. But now a giraffe tongue, on average, is 20 inches long. So can you imagine when they sloop out there and trying to get them some leaves and stuff off a tree? I mean, it'd take them a long time to suck all that back in, so they might get sunburnt. But I've never noticed it as many times as I've been to the zoo. Now, I knew they had a long tongue, but we never measured it, didn't know. But 20 inches long, and they're black. Check it out next time you go to the zoo. Another thing, adult cats. Now, I know probably people watching this show, probably 1 in 3 at least have a cat, whether it's inside or outside. You've probably got cats, but I wonder if you ever noticed that an adult cat will only meow at a human. Cats don't meow to each other. If you see adults, cats playing, they may slap at each other and do all, and every now and then they'll growl, and stuff and slap, but they never meow at each other. Adult cats only meow at humans. Now, baby cats will actually meow at each other and their mama and stuff. But who would have actually sat around and figured that out? I mean, that a lot of research went into that, and I don't know who paid for it all. Somebody had to pay for that kind of research, but that's the kind of stuff that you just don't hear on the street. And I go to Walmart a lot, and a lot of these other places, and I like to hang out some and talk to people sometimes when my wife's shopping. And you come up with all kind of conversations, all kind. I mean, you think, but we have never come up with a conversation about cats meowing. Never really discussed a grizzly bear or housefly's tone. But that stuff, that's really somebody like Mr. Crow here went to a lot of trouble to come up with and figure out, so that folks like us can learn these facts, because it is stuff that you need to know. It's interesting. Our mind has a lot of empty space a lot of times that we need to fill up with this kind of stuff here. That it's good trivia questions when you're sitting around a family reunion or something. You just throw that out and ask somebody. What's the average length of a giraffe tongue? I bet you nobody would know unless they watched this show. But anyway, that's kind of interesting. You may want to go online yourself and read some of those facts. I mean, it was bestlifeonline.com, and the article was by Sarah Crow. Like I say, that was really interesting to me. Now, I know if you live in Alabama, and I know you do, if you're watching this, you've probably got rained on here in the last few days. Well, let me change that. Probably in the last few weeks and months. We've had more rain here lately than we've ever had. I mean, it's just, I went out to the barn out here a little while ago and come back and told Regina we've got at the Long Farms now, we've got a lake. That's just water everywhere. And so, we had a drought a few years ago and really kind of run into one this past summer, toward the end of summer, where the grass quit growing and stuff. But I tell you what, I think we got enough rain right now that's going to keep the grass growing for a long time this coming summer. I mean, it's already starting to come up some of these 60-degree days and stuff's got the grass coming. The cows, they just kind of leaving the hay alone now, walking the pastures looking for grass. I guess they know the hay will be there when they get back to it. But it's kind of interesting, like I say, just to see how much rain we got. And they're talking about even today getting 3 or 4 more inches or so. So there's no end in sight hardly for it. But we must need the rain or we wouldn't be getting it. And so I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just telling you about it. But we're not complaining. Bring it on. A lot of road closures around this area and stuff. But it's the second house that we built, and both houses we built up on a hill. So we're not going to ever flood out here unless it gets one of them Noah rains. And let's hope it don't. But anyway, we've had a lot of rain. I'm sure you have too. And sometimes it's easy to complain about it. But just remember, somebody with a far more knowledge than we do is the one deciding when we get the rain. So I'm not gonna complain about it at all. So anyway, well, I appreciate you watching tonight. Like I say, was kind of undecided if I ought to even do a show with this thing on right here, because you can see through it and see my scar. And you know, been real fortunate so far. My wife has not been calling me Scar. She's still calling me Ray. But you know, it is something though. Like I say, when you have these problems, you just go on with life and keep things going. Like I say, you can't turn your head. I would like you to notice something though before we end the show. If you'll see, we've changed locations. We're actually doing this in our house tonight. But if you'll see right above me, we have 5 grandkids, and each grandkid is pictured above me. And so, you know, someday my hope is to have all the 5 grandkids on the show so that we can just sit and carry on a good show and ask them some funny questions and stuff. Of course, one of them, the one in the middle here, our little Izzy Grace, she couldn't talk right now if we asked her a question, but she'd sure smile at you. But anyway, thought we'd want to share the pictures of our grandkids with you. Next week, you don't want to miss it. March the 3rd, primaries are coming up in just a few weeks. We've had a few candidates already on running for the Senate. Next week, as you don't want to miss it, we've got Congressman Bradley Byrne, candidate for the U.S. Senate, going to be right here talking issues and letting you know where he stands on things. And like I say, he's had some pretty good publicity this past week or last week from President Trump right after the impeachment vote. When President Trump went back to the White House and called a few folks over, he openly called out Bradley Byrne and thanked him for his work. So we're going to discuss that with Congressman Byrne next week. Hope you'll watch it. And look, you know, we've said a lot of things here tonight, a lot of funny things, some things that maybe you can carry back, like I say, and use at family reunions and all that. But everything that we've said here tonight, hey, it's just our opinion.